Hi friends, welcome back to Amelia Island Market Buzz. I'm Joanne Patience, Realtor Thayer Valley Real Estate North Florida, and a proud member of the Florida-Georgia Connection team. Whether you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or simply loving keeping tabs on the housing market, today's episode is packed with insights you can use. I'm going to dive deep into the July and August 2025 numbers released by the Amelia Island Nassau County Association of Realtors. And we'll also see how those numbers stack up against what analysts and big news outlets are saying about Florida and the nation. If you want a true picture of where the market is heading as we move into the final quarter of the year, stay with me. I'm going to break it all down. So let's start with inventory because the heartbeat of the market. In July, we had 607 active listings in a 5.3 months of supply. Now in August, inventory edged down slightly to 586 active listings and 5.1 months of supply. Now you might be wondering, what does months of supply actually mean? Think of it as the number of months it would take to sell all the current homes on the market if no listings were added. Economists consider 5.5 months the balance point, where neither buyers or sellers have a major advantage. So at 5.1, we are right on the balanced line, leaning only slightly toward buyers. That means there's enough inventory for healthy choice, but not so much that prices are forced down. So now let's talk about sales. Closed sales went from 131 homes in July to 104 in August. That's a 20% month-to-month dip and about 12.6% lower than a year ago. Some of that is simple seasonality. After the busy spring and early summer rush, families have moved and schools are back into session. Now, August and September almost always see a drop in closings, but it's also a reflection of affordability pressures, higher mortgage rates, and insurance costs, which we'll talk about later when we zoom out to the national picture. Now, interestingly, new listings tell a more positive story. After a slow July with 177 new listings, August brought in 162 new listings, which is actually 11.7% higher than August of last year. The steady pipeline of fresh homes helps keep the market balanced and gives buyers options, even as some closings slow. Pending sales, meaning contracts that were signed but haven't closed yet, were 123 in August, slightly above from July's 140, but showing steady buyer activity. Now here's the big headline. Prices are not just holding, they're climbing. Median sale price jumped from $499,000 in July to $567,500 in August. Our average sale price rose from $659,869 to $701,290. Those are significant single-month increases and reflect two things. One, strong demand for upper-tier homes and new construction. And second, buyers willing to pay for well-maintained, well-located properties despite higher borrowing costs. Builders continue to be a big part of this picture. The $600,000 net price range remains active, and new construction homes are often coming with incentives, like helping with closing costs or design upgrades. That keeps the higher end of the market moving and supports those elevated average prices. So even though we're seeing fewer overall transactions, the mix of what's selling is skewing higher in price, which is why the average and median prices are climbing. Now, what about how long homes are taking to sell? Median time to contract in August was 52 days. Now that's down slightly from 56 days in July. Median time to sales stretched from 98 days in July to 105 days in August. That combination, faster contracts but slightly longer total closings, usually points to more finance deals and fewer all-cash purchases, which naturally take longer to close. Again, very normal for the late summer, early fall. Now let's pull back and look at the big picture. Florida Realtors reported statewide closed sales down roughly 3% year over year in July, with median prices essentially flat. Nationally, the Wall Street Journal recently highlighted the U.S. home sales fell in August as affordability pressures and high prices kept some buyers out of the market. Analysts at Ramsey Solutions and other outlets are calling 2025 the most buyer-friendly market since 2016, thanks to the rising inventory and more moderate pricing. Some areas, such as Cape Coral is a frequent example, are seeing price declines and even distressed sales. But here's where Nassau County and Amelia Island stand apart. We're still seeing price growth, not flat or declining values. Our inventory is balanced, not oversupplied, and new construction remains strong, helping meet demand and help keep quality high. In other words, while we share the nationwide slowdown in transaction count, we are outperforming on price and on strength of our housing stock. Why does this matter to you listeners? For homeowners, this is reassuring. Your property values are stable and for many still appreciating. For buyers, it means more selection and negotiating room than the frenzy market of 2021 and 2022. But you still need to be decisive on well-priced homes because they're holding their value. Now, some key takeaways for buyers and sellers. For buyers, this is a welcome change from the bidding wars of the past few years. You can shop with more confidence, negotiate on terms, and even request seller concessions, something we rarely saw in 2021 or 2022. And if mortgage rates drop below 6% later this year, as some economists predict, you might see a surge of competition again. Getting pre-approved now means you can move quickly when the right home hits the market. Now for sellers, if you're thinking about selling, you're entering a market that rewards preparation and price strategy. Buyers have more homes to choose from, so professional staging, great photography, and realistic pricing are crucial. But the good news is buyers are still willing to pay strong prices for homes that show well and are move-in ready. Sellers who list now could catch serious buyers before the deeper holiday slowdown. Now for investors and second home buyers, if you're considering a second home or an investment property, Amelia Island's resilient pricing and strong luxury demand make it a steady choice. While other Florida markets are cooling or seeing price corrections, our area continues to attract relocation buyers and vacation home seekers. Now let's take a look towards the rest of 2025. I expect, in my opinion, closed sales to ease further through the holidays, inventory to remain balanced above the 5 months of supply, prices to stay firm or post moderate gains, especially in new construction and well-located properties. In short, a calm, steady market, not a crash. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the July and August 2025 market. If you've been thinking about buying or selling, this is the perfect time to plan your next move. Whether it's a free, no-obligation home valuation, a customized property search, or just a conversation about timing and strategy, I'd love to help. Call or text me at 904-588-2673, or you can email me at FLNassauHomes@gmail.com. That's FLNassauHomes@gmail.com. And remember, I work closely with the Florida Georgia Connection team, so if your move crosses state lines, I can connect you seamlessly. Thanks for listening to the Amelia Island Market Buzz. I'm Joanne Patience, helping you find your coastal lifestyle. Until next time, stay informed, stay inspired, and I'll see you out there in our beautiful island community.